Hey, it's Alaina Rosa, and if you want to know more about your angels and how to connect with them, you are gonna love this interview. From a very early age, Kyle Gray has had the ability to sense the spirit world. He discovered the power and love of angels during his teenage years. Today, Kyle is one of the most hip and sought-after angel experts. He has written 5 books, including his latest, Raise Your Vibration, and created the Connect with Your Angels online course. He speaks around the world and runs a boutique yoga and meditation studio in Glasgow, Scotland. It is my pleasure to welcome here today Kyle Gray. Kyle, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So let's start with a very common question, which is, do angels belong to a particular religion?
Whoa, good one. No, they don't. They are mentioned in many religions, but they are not attributed to any particular religion. In fact, I've always had this feeling the angels transcend religion. They came before religion did. So, no, they're not. But there are many that mention them. And there are many that also mention angels, but not by the word angel or malaika or anything like that. They are mentioned, they just have different names and different belief systems and folklore. So they are everywhere. And there's a lot of stuff popping up about them now.
Yeah, so you don't have to be religious at all to call upon them or work with them, right?
Right, and I don't have a religion. That's the coolest thing ever. I'm a complete free agent.
Yeah, so then, Kyle, what are angels?
An angel, for me, is a divine expression of love. That's basically it. And the best way for me to describe my image of it would be to think of it this way. If you were to imagine the universe, this incredible universe that we are part of, to be a gigantic big heart, every time that universe's heart was to beat, the beat would be an angel. So therefore, an angel is part of real creational energy, like pure energy. Some people call that God, some people call that the universe. And so angels are actually part of God or part of the universe, not separate from that presence, but can appear separate for our human minds to understand them as these incredible beings. So many people always say to me, Kyle, why do you speak to angels and not God? And my answer is simple. When you're speaking directly to an angel, you are speaking directly to the heart of the Creator or the universe, whatever you want to call it.
That's amazing. And then, what would you say that angels do? What do they do?
The angel's ultimate goal is to remind us that we are not separate from love. So they are these somewhat cosmic inspirers that try to remind us constantly that we are actually love. And there's so many spiritual paths now that are all directing us there, that we are love, and there's love within us, and there's love around us. The angels actually act as a mirror, and they mirror our own love back to us. So people who are mesmerized by the idea of an angel, like, oh my goodness, how amazing it would be to see this angel. The angel actually mirrors your own divine essence back to you.
Wow.
So when you see a spark of their greatness, you actually see a spark of your own.
That's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
How can they help?
Angels, this is the coolest thing about angels, is they are dedicated to us. So our whole entire being is their purpose. That's it, right? So they are absolutely dedicated to us. how they can help us, in many ways, but their help does not necessarily have to be a physical help. It can be a subtle help. And one of the things that I always like to say is angels aren't restricted to a specific way of helping us. Sometimes they might just give us a feeling of comfort, you know, if we're going through a really, really hard time. And, you know, there's something really challenging happening in our life, and all of a sudden this wave of comfort comes over us from nowhere that can be explained. That can be an angel. So angels can be that type of inspirer. But the angels can also help us help other people. You know, like when you're going on the train one day and you can see someone with their stroller and you know they're struggling, and something tells you inside, I need to help them with that. Mm-hmm. That's an angel as well. You know, so angels are these inspirers of goodness, and they constantly remind us that we are powerful. That's the most exciting thing about them, is they don't want glorification. They don't want us to bow down to them. They don't want us to worship them. They just want us to remember that we're loved and share that love. Because ultimately that's what's going to help the world. So wherever there's a lack of love in our lives, the angels will find a way to replace it or to fill in that gap so that we can feel whole.
And inspired, perfect. And what kind of different angels are there?
I mean, there's, you know, so many different types of angels that actually does stem from religion. So that's man-made labels. So you can kind of, and I just want to point that out because to me an angel does not have form. It is just purely divine or purely universal energy. But to help the human mind get around these different types of energy, they've been labeled as angels, archangels, which are the famous angels, if you will. They're the ones that made it to Hollywood. And
the guardian angels.
The guardian angels are the ones that work with us. And for me, I think they're the most important angels, you know, because they're the ones that are right in the thick of it, working with people like you and I, you know, working with people going through disease, going through, you know, all these challenging things that the world is going through. But then you also get the archangels, which are almost like the overseers of the other angels. You know, they make sure that they are fulfilling their duties, if you will. And these are more like larger pockets of energy that we can tap into. So they're unlimited in energy. And then you get different types that go all the way up. The highest form of angel is said to be the seraphim. And their whole purpose is to sing the name of the divine, like constantly keeping that love moving. It's such a beautiful idea, but it starts to get a little bit complicated. And for me, I think angels are a very simplistic, you know, idea. And I say idea with a reason. Because A Course in Miracles defines an angel as the thought of God, right? So for me, if you were to think of God, whatever you may call it, having a thought, the angel is actually an idea of God, and I think that's exciting. Yeah. You know, you know, like one day this great brain of the universe, you know, almost thought, and the thought actually is the angel, and I think that's so amazing. Splendid.
Yeah, you know. And then for practical purposes, Kyle, how can we, let's say, tap into that energy, or as we commonly say it, call upon angels? Yeah,
I mean, you can call upon angels anywhere you are. That's the first thing that we have to point out, and you don't have to be a special person to do it. You know, like everyone's got this incredible connection within them. And for me, I say thank you, angels. That's my daily practice. Instead of asking for them to come to me, my belief is that they are already here. I just need to give them permission to help. And so some of the things that I'll do is just very simple, like thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence. you know, because their ultimate goal is to remind me that I'm not separate from love. And if I'm reminded of their presence, there'll be a wholeness that's restored within me. Because the world is constantly trying to make us feel like we're separate from love. Mm-hmm. And the angels are constantly trying to remind us that we're not. So I'll say stuff like, thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence, or thank you, angels, for reminding me, for revealing to me what I need to know. But I'll also do things like, thank you, angels, for being a kiss upon this person's forehead. You know, if someone's going through a really hard time.
Oh,
you know, and I'll imagine an angel like kissing their forehead.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's really good. And we can also encourage other people to be angels.
Other people to be angels?
Yeah, you can bring the angel out in someone, you know, like the eternal goodness in someone.
Like
so
the divine.
Yeah, so I always I do it. See if someone's giving me a hard time, I'll go, hi angel, how you doing? You know, and I'll call them angel. Like I'll find the angel in them.
Oh, that's awesome! I love that. I'm gonna do that.
It's really, really cool. And you know, if someone's feeling overwhelmed and they feel like they're doing too much, and I usually say, well, you're being an angel. You know, like I'll point out the angelic qualities in others, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, and then you connect to that goodness in that other person. That's amazing. I love it.
You know, here's the truth. I don't like being told what I'm doing wrong or what I need to fix.
Yeah.
And, you know, if someone could just point out the goodness, I think that's what will take the lead. And so I try to do that with people.
Yeah, and how about, can we ask the angels, we ask angels for help for us, but can we ask our angels or somebody else's angels to help them? Can we ask for help for other people?
Yeah, there's this amazing quote from A Course in Miracles that I have on a post-it stuck to my bed. It says, when I am healed, I am not healed alone. And I really love that quote because sometimes what I'll do is I will surrogate myself for someone else's healing. So say I know someone's going through a really intense time, I will thank the angels for bringing me healing, and I'll receive it and then I'll say, when I am healed, I am not healed alone.
Oh, I love that.
With that intention, it's for them too. But we can also say, you know, dear angels of LA, thank you for holding her within a healing light. You know, we can say something like that. And the best way to make sure that the energy is clear, you just say, for the highest good. Or I always say, in the law of grace. Grace is that presence that I believe the soul asks for rather than the mind. And there's a difference. So, you know, like if you've heard the stories of people being saved from an unseen force, that's the call for grace. It's the soul saying, the body and mind is not ready to go yet. You know, so the soul can ask for help for you.
Your own soul.
Yeah, your own soul. And so the soul can ask your angel for you too. But if you say in grace, it means you're encouraging someone's soul to receive it for them. And I think that's nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how does our free will comes into play with all this?
The free will is always number one, numero uno. You know, it's like right at the head of it. So the angels can mess with your free will, and they know that. But if your soul decides for you, they can. Do you know what I mean? So we've got every great spiritual teacher that I've read about, have been interested in, have all had a really heavy moment in their life. Like they've all, you know, hit a really low feeling in their life, but something inspired them to change. I believe that's the soul calling out for grace. You know, like a graceful moment. And I believe the angels are the beings that deliver those graceful moments.
Yeah.
So we can do that for someone in the law of grace. Therefore, if someone's soul believes this will help them get back to who they really are, then it can receive it for them.
Perfect. And then how can we open ourselves more and more to receiving and invite the angels to constantly be in our lives? Because I remember you mentioned that we need to ask for their help.
That's one step.
And then how can then we open to receiving this help?
Well, there's some new information that I have on that, and I want to give it to you because I think you'll like it. So there's I say new information for me, I mean. So one of the things I'll say is you have to ask. Yeah. The other thing I really am into is the law of attractions. And you know, the law of attraction says that like attracts like. So therefore, if we are more, and I'm looking at your book pile, of course you're into the law of attraction. You know, if we act more like an angel, we will attract more of them into our life.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Right?
But there's one other one, and it's called letting the shields drop. Mm-hmm. Have you ever noticed whenever you... we experience shields all the time. Like, you know, when someone isn't ready to talk to you, or they don't really want to be in your presence, or you don't want someone to be in your presence, and you go and you put the shields up. Mm-hmm. Most people do that to their angels too.
Unconsciously or on purpose?
Probably both, because many people are scared of the idea of seeing the angel.
Yeah, that's right.
So the shields go right up. Many people are also scared of change because it's so uncertain and unknown, and so the shields go up. And so the first time I ever seen an angel, I felt naked. There was not one thing this being could not see. It was like it could see my skin, it could see my bones, it could see every single secret, regret, mistake, fear in my bones and in my body. And so every day of my life I have dedicated to dropping my shields, because when the angel was there, the shields had to be down. They had to drop. And so I was like, you know, how would that work? So if I consciously say I'm dropping the shields. Now there's a really great exercise that you can do. Perfect. To help. You just need a partner. Mm-hmm. And you have to close your eyes and you imagine that your little shield is coming down. Mm-hmm. And then you look inside the eyes of the other person and you gaze deeply, deeply, deeply. But generally most people will go and like do this, and they don't want to do it. Right. But the more you do it, the more the shields will come down.
And the more comfortable you feel. Yeah.
And then the angels can come in.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And
one last thing. I was just going to say, what I do is I say, dear shields, there is no need for you to exist. You are now going down. Mm. And then I'll say, dear angels, the shields are down. Come to the party. You know.
That's amazing. That's very practical and useful. Thank you, Kyle. And welcome. You said you've seen an angel. So what do angels look like?
I mean, they don't have form, but they create it for us to like go, oh my God, that's an angel. Uh-huh. So when I seen an angel for the first time, it looked like the movie Cocoon. Have you ever seen that?
No, but I'm sure many people watching have.
It's from the 80s. I mean, it's just basically this person made of light and his big black kind of eyes, but not black in a scary way, black in a, you know, unknown, like from another world way.
Wow.
Like huge, like made of light. And like I said, there was this feeling that came with the angel. That's what the mind-blowing part was. You know, it was almost like someone who just went, you're naked. But not like physically, like every way, you know, it was in my mind, it was in my thoughts, it was in my body, it knew everything. Wow. And it was an incredible, fierce love, you know, and I have to say it's a fierce love, because many people think angels are very, but they're not. Angels are fierce. Not. They are like, they have, you know, I don't want to swear, but they have like a no BS approach to life, you know. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, and they call our own stuff up so that we can face it and then get back to love.
Yeah, and do they guide us or push us or motivate us to follow our purpose in life, to do what we came to do?
I mean, I'm going to say this, that I believe the angels believe that our only purpose is to be happy and everything else is a bonus. So I've seen a lot of people say online, like I seen this online recently, and I just want to bring it up because I really feel like a lot of people get this idea. Someone I know who's into this stuff broke her ankle, and she's like, oh my God, I broke my ankle. There's a message from my angels to slow down. I'm like, your angels are ultimately love. Why the hell would they break your ankle? You know? So a lot of people feel when things go wrong, it's a lesson from the angels, but the angels don't punish, they only love. And that's a really clear thing. So when things go wrong, the angels didn't create it, we did. And I think that as soon as we take that power back, we'll have a clearer connection with them. Because many people mystify the relationship between us and the angels, like they're here to give us into trouble or set us right or to warn us or whatever. That's not true.
I like it, yeah. And Kyle, going a little bit into the theme of your latest book, Raise Your Vibration. I usually, in my blog and all of that, I usually talk a lot about how can we raise our vibration, like to have high vibes, I call it.
High vibe life.
Yeah, exactly. So can you please talk a little bit about what is vibration and how can it, why is it useful for connecting with our angels?
Vibration is just a feeling. It's an energy. The best way to describe it is if you've ever walked into an office one day and before you're going to work or you're going to the home and you just know before you get in the room that someone is not having a good day. There's like a feeling that just goes shum right inside your belly. It feels like there's a tumble dryer inside your belly. It's like, and you can feel everything all moving about. Or you see the opposite, where you go into a room and everyone is having the best time of their life and the smile becomes infectious. Like you go, oh my God, this is amazing. And you can't help but smile and it becomes this infectious energy. That's vibes, that's vibration.
Exactly.
The most important thing that we point out here is we've all been either of those people. We've been the one that's making the good vibes and the one that's making the challenging vibes. When we choose to raise our vibration, consciously we choose the highest one. We consciously choose that vibe. And that vibe is not only just happening in our personal relationships and our personal lives, it's happening in this whole entire universe. Everything in this whole entire universe is vibrating. Like our biochemical rhythms are actually a pulsation of what's happening in the cosmos. Like there's a vibration that comes through the stars that we mimic. So when we choose to raise our vibration, we consciously choose to elevate our personal feelings, ultimately to serve the greater good of the planet. And that's what raising your vibration is all about. It's about choosing to be the change you want to see.
Exactly.
Just quoting Gandhi. Yeah.
Perfect, Kyle. So we are sadly running out of time. Loving our conversation, but just before we go, is there like a practical, simple way that people can use, that we can use to raise our vibration when we feel we have this low vibe and we want to go, the other way?
Here's a really practical thing, and it might be a bit weird for you, but I'm just going to say is, if we are feeling negative or bad, no amount of positive thinking will ever make a negative feeling disappear. In order for us to experience the miraculous, we have to make room for it. So it has to come out in order for new stuff to come back inside. So my practical tool is, if you are feeling like you are not good today, find a way to get it out so that the good can come back in. And my favorite thing is going a run or punch bags. Best thing ever. Punch it all out. Get all your frustrations out, because ultimately the more you hold it in, the more you deprive yourself of receiving the good that is your birthright.
Perfect. So open the space, clean the space to
Yeah.
get the good
And
vibes.
the good vibes come when you make room for them. It's an organic process. We just have to make space.
Yeah, I love
So
it.
that's my practical tool.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
You're
and
welcome.
and thank you so much for being here today, for sharing all of your knowledge and expertise on angels and your experiences. We're really grateful for that. And I'm sure people watching will find this very useful and in improving their lives and living a happier life. So thank you, Kyle.
Cheers. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.